into the breach, dear friend. Evening, folks. Sorry we're a wee bit late, but you know, this what we're getting organised. I was doing my hair, the usual stuff. But we are here, so thanks for coming out. I hope everybody's safe and well. Before we start with our guest tonight, I just want to say hello to our two soldiers who are out in the field as we speak. Sam and Shelley are away out on an investigation tonight, somewhere in Ayrshire. I'm not saying where, but it's be cold and it'll be dark, and they are alone, but they are there. So they'll be doing a wee video, hopefully, and which will be getting posted up on YouTube some point tomorrow, hopefully, if they survive. I think it'll be fine, because Sam's quite scary. She's quite a scary person, Sam. Shelley's a wee timid, but Sam's quite scary, isn't she?
Aye, but Shelley's from Glasgow.
I was Shelley's from Glasgow, that says it all. I mean, hi Angelina Doll, and just one more wee announcement before we get started. It's a bit of bragging, but everybody paranormal history are over the moon today because we picked up 89 new followers in one day. It's the highest jump we have had since Sarah and I started way back in 1912. You know. So anyway, as you can see, we've got Joe, but we've got the guys back from GSI, one of our favourite teams, joined with his JD and Coke, and Ralph with his farts. So you're in for a good evening. Hi, guys.
Yeah, thanks for that intro.
Well, you know, we like to make an entrance, you know, especially if we're running late. How are we, gents?
Yeah, all right, but just about able to get out now. Lockdown's sort of lifting, so yeah, we're just starting to ramp up now. So yeah, all good at our end, but
Good. How are you, Ralph?
Yeah, all good. Like John says, you know, now we've got a bit more freedom. We can start getting out and getting the investigations going, picking up some new locations, and getting back some revisits as well.
Well, we get told today that travel ban was meant to be up on the 28th, but we found out today that it's actually up this Friday. They're lifting the travel ban early. So that's kind of good news for us. It means we can get up and running. So Sarah and I are off to Edinburgh first time. She's dying to go back to Edinburgh. So we're going back to Edinburgh first time on Friday morning. Can't wait. I mean, you feel like you've been released. So that was a wee bit of good news for Scotland today. So anyway, guys, I watched a video this afternoon, and funny enough, you two were in it.
funny that.
That is quite weird, that. Really guys. So you were allowed to say the location?
Yes, go for it.
Cannot Chase Forest. Excellent. Yes. Can you tell me about the history of Cannot Chase, the forest area that you were in?
Go ahead, Ralph. You're probably best for this one, bud.
Yeah, so obviously it's famous for the black-eyed children, which is the main thing down there, which is a result of the three murders of the children that happened back in the 60s by a chap who died a few years ago in prison, actually. So that's where it comes from. But it's a massive hotspot, everything from UFOs to, you know, sort of like werewolf type things in there as well. So it is just, you know, like a magnet to paranormal stroke, you know, phenomenon, really. So, yeah, so we went down there and checked out a section of the woods to see what we could get. Obviously, we've been before on the other far side, and we caught on one of our older videos, if you're seeing that, a really good rod orb appearing in between us. So, yeah, if you're not seeing. So, yeah, so, you know, it's one of those, you could go there every day of the week for a full week and not cover it, really. It is massive.
It's Angelina and Matthew saying, "Hi folks, thanks for coming in." I noticed the video Victoria picked up quite a bit. She was picking up.
Yeah. The joys of having a spiritualist on board. She gets to see and experience things before we do, really. So she's like our compass and our guide really when she's on with us. It's utilising the team skills and that into really. So we have to use technology, and she can use her own abilities.
Cool. Sometimes, I mean, I'm not flagging the gadgets and technology. We've got a few bits and pieces ourselves. We're seeing quite a few lives. Your senses is the best thing. To think you can start again. See, that's the last time these two were in. My speech went out the window. You know what I mean? I blame GSI. I blame GSI.
It's always our fault.
Make the change. Choose mine.
Well, last live we done these guys, Joe. My speech was, out the window and down the road. It was just gone. I thought Kira was going to have to win. That's how bad it was.
It was, but I've had my ear chewed off by Ralph, my wife, Vicky, for what I did on that night. You saw it yourself. Made myself rather ill. Wasn't very well for about a week. So rightly so, I got a bit of a bollocking for it, but I just wanted to push myself really to see how far I could go with it. You know what I mean? But probably regret doing it now anyway.
I was watching it, and it was it felt quite intense just watching it. This is a different investigation, folks. The guys were at a church about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, it was alive 3 weeks ago, yeah.
And John, Sarah has to step out for a minute, but I'm still here. Don't worry, I'm not leaving yet. It seemed quite an intense investigation, even just sitting watching it, at home. And then as you say, John, you've seen how you got affected by it as well. The Ouija board.
Yeah, but I mean, I put it on myself, didn't I? I mean, I went with every intention of just seeing how far I could push, my limits that night. And I probably found them, to be honest. I wouldn't recommend it.
But I think any paranormal investigator, they get a certain time, they'll get to a certain investigation, and they're tempted to do it. They want to just see how far you can go with it, and they take the chance. Sometimes they come out okay, but as that night you can kind of come out the worse for wear. And I know it took you a couple of days to get back on your feet. I think it's just human nature, because you're curious, and I think your curiosity gets the better of you. You're still.
Also, how do you know where your limit is unless you push it in the first place? Do you know what I mean? You've got to probe and see what you're able to accept. Otherwise, you're never going to know what your limit actually is. And that was my intention on that night. I just invited a little bit too much on myself. That's all. But if anything else, I've taken away from it a big learning curve.
So Ralph gave you an earful as well.
Yeah, for about 2 days. My wife stopped nagging me only last week. And Vicky just laughs when she sees me. So
I'm a little in the dark as to what actually happened.
Well, we went to Colson Bassett and we did a live. And I asked Vicky to put enhancement runes on me, the strongest that she could do. And I asked her if she could go and open a portal and try and drag something through. Then I willingly invited whatever was there to attach itself to me and affect me in the worst way possible. I know, Joe, I know. I know. This is the look my wife keeps giving me. Stop doing it. I'm
gathering you protected yourself, obviously. You are joking.
No, I had no protection whatsoever.
Okay, so this is a little bit like something you would see that maybe flashes up when you watch TV. Don't try this at home.
100%. Yeah,
These
100%.
guys know what they're doing, okay? And it's don't do it. Don't do it.
No,
It's
no.
not. It's not. It's not a good way to test your limits. As
No.
John found out. There's
Yeah,
much to do for it.
but it's also helped me now to sort of have a better understanding of how it can affect you in different ways. The early onset effectiveness, so I can spot it a lot earlier now. But if I'd not have pushed myself through that, then I might still be ignorant to that side of it. Do you know what I mean? It's certainly not something that I would recommend to anybody. I'm sure there's other ways where you can get educated. I just seemed to give myself a crash course that night.
Okay.
But yeah, like Scott said, it was massive curiosity in my own limits, and also morbid curiosity to what their limits was. So I thought I'd push it on both angles. You know.
Can I ask you what it was?
We don't know. We know there is a dark monk in the area, and I didn't specify what I was allowing to attach to me. But before I even started asking for it to happen, I could feel myself feeling sick in a certain area of the graveyard. It was affecting me without me even asking for anything. So when I allowed something to attach to him, that was it. I just went, and I was physically ill on camera twice, and just had to remove myself from the investigation.
Ralph, did you watch this happen to him? Did you watch the whole thing?
I only saw, unfortunately, I couldn't get out. I only saw a bit of it. And when I saw what he was doing, my first thoughts were he needs taking out and it needs sorting out. He needs taking a step back. We've had a long conversation about it, and it's all very well testing the limits, but it's almost like a cartoon thing, you know, like the coyote. How many steps over the cliff edge do you take before you realise it's too late and just going down? Exactly. Yeah.
I would never have done it. I would never even attempted to go anywhere near what I was doing if Vicky wasn't there. I put my full faith in Vicky. Yeah, she knows what she's doing, and I've got full faith that she was able to remove it and reverse it, but she had to come around my house the next day and do a cleansing of the entire house, do a cleansing of me. Yeah, she gave me all sorts of herbs and stuff that I had to take in, and
she sounds like a girl I need to meet. She sounds like somebody.
She's great, honestly. But yeah, if she wasn't there, I would never even in a million years have attempted it, even with Ralph there, and I trust Ralph implicitly.
So was it just something you spontaneously decided to do then, or was it something that you planned to do? Did you just think, do you know what, we're going to do an investigation? Now we're here, I'm going to open myself and go, come on and get me.
Well, no, Ralph knows I'm the one that always tries to push it. I'm the one that flies close to the lines. I'm always that way in everything that I do.
Okay.
But usually I've got Ralph, and I'm going to say it, nagging at me and saying, no, he's being sensible. Ralph is the sensible one. He's not nagging in a bad way. He's doing it to protect me and the team. You know, I know he is. But for me, it's like, no, I want to push it. But I always take his advice. Just so happens he wasn't there that night. So I thought, sod it, I'm having it.
You abused the situation. That's what you did.
That's why I got my arse chewed, and it won't happen again.
We've had these guys on quite a few times, and both teams are quite close. So I tell you, I know them quite well, and obviously John and I talk, between lines and what have you. And I think it was because Ralph was in there. He thought, stuff it. I'm not going to get that chewed just now, so I'm going to go for it. What do you think, Ralph? Do you think that was the case? There was a wee bit of freedom.
I think that was it. I mean, John will turn around, he'll get caught in the heat of the moment, you know what I mean? And then he just rolls with it. And before he realises it, it's like, well, that's it now. There's no backing out now. I'm going for it. And then he's on a roller coaster.
Yeah, the surfer that's paddling out to the wave, and then all of a sudden the wave quadruples in size. I'm a bit like that. When I get out there, I'm like, oh, shit.
A good idea at the time.
Yeah, but if anything happens, my brain doesn't engage correct. It's just like, there's something, and I just go. Even if it's like undergrowth I cannot see through, there could be holes, mine shafts, I'm just gone. And Ralph has to just pull me back, so you just need to slow down a bit. And he's right, I do.
So, Scott, if we ever work with these guys, you can do the risk assessment, okay?
Hey, Andy, buddy. Welcome, buddy.
Or Sarah. Sarah, you can do it. You can do it. You're good at them. You can do that.
I'm a changed man since Colston Bassett.
Okay. I'm not sure I'm convinced by that. If I'm totally honest. I still think there's a loose cannon ready to go in there somewhere.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
There we go. There we go.
In a sensible way, though, Joe. Now, definitely, I'll do it in a sensible way. I've got not necessarily a newfound respect, because I've always had respect for the other side, but now I've felt it and what it can actually do to you, it gives you that new sort of respect, doesn't it? So
it does, absolutely. I had a very similar experience in Pendle.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
You was bad?
I can't remember anything. I totally blanked out for about 10 minutes, and then when I'd come round, I was a girl who died of amoebic dysentery, and I had come from London. Yeah, it was and it happened in one of the pubs that's there now that you can still actually stay in. So
wow.
Yeah.
Did you invite that onto yourself, or did it just happen?
I was just kind of, I'm open anyway, pagan witch, and went along and felt very sick. But it's exactly as you described. I felt very sick, quite headachy, and then I was violently sick. Come back out, and I just felt stone cold, absolutely cold to the core. So, and I was in a room of, maybe this was obviously before COVID. I was in a room of about 18 people, and I just bobbed down thinking, if I make myself small, I can kind of keep the warmth in.
Yeah.
Can't remember anything else. Next thing I know, I was stood up looking at everybody thinking, why the hell are all these people staring at me?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crikey. Well, that's an experience and half, isn't it?
As you can tell from my accent, I'm not from Lancashire at all, and I was broad Lancashire accent, and that's the one accent, and I'm quite good at accents. That's the one accent I just can't do. And I was very, very broad Lancashire, and it wasn't me.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I was concerned for you. I mean, I was sitting here watching you, and I think I put in the comments and all to. No, you weren't. You were in the bedroom watching. I was now sitting here. I was watching it in the room.
Here we go. Domestic number 2, or is it number 3?
See what I mean? I can't even make one comment and just bang, she's in. Here, hold my pen.
Anyway, moving swiftly on, guys.
Moving on, as I say, I still love saying that on camera. Moving on. I was concerned for you. I put in the comments, I think it was Rob that was doing the chat, and I says you need to take him out, you need to get him out, get away and get a break, you know what I mean? So the joy of these guys in Pendle. So Sarah would do the risk assessment, because I wouldn't even know where to start. Basically, keep John away for everything. Basically,
the thing is, I can't ever guarantee that I'm not going to push it again, because that's just my makeup. But now I've got a better understanding of what I'm watching for. Whereas before I didn't,
a little bit first.
And can protect myself, and just know when to, and now I'm getting close to that line, I can ease myself back now. Now I've got that understanding. So that will help me in the future.
Yeah, I understand
that. Traveling brief, my path out, so interested in you. There you go. Somebody say as usual.
That's awesome. If you want to chat, by all means, drop us a message. Hey, sister.
Don't start
Andy. Make sure he's at Pendle.
I'll cry.
It sounds like we're all together.
I think we'll have enough rogues of us. I think with PIH turning up.
There's a few of us getting to be fair.
I'll be bringing my own brew anyway.
I'll bring the vodka. We'll have a right night.
If you want iron brew, I can just weigh in a can for you. It's the same stuff, isn't it?
You said that.
Really?
Oh, God, it's vile stuff.
I'll get that tonight, Ed, so I'm safe. So getting back to Cannock Chase, the bit I found more, I mean, the whole lot was good, but the bit I found most interesting was when you had the noise cancelling headphones on. Some of the answers you got, there was the word father came through, I think, was it you, Ralph, that was asking the questions, who brought you here or something, and the word father came through. And then the three as well.
Yeah, I was asking the questions. Can't remember all of the responses off the top of my head, but it was very interesting because we was getting quite accurate answers through all of it. Some of the ages and the numbers that came through was a slight difference.
There was one difference,
but
I think.
Everything else that could just be a hole in some of the research. Yeah, I think it was the 11-year-old, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but
Tom, I think. 11-year-old.
Who knows what was there? I mean, obviously, we're pinpointing the black-eyed children. That's not to turn around and say there's any other, spirits in that area for any number of reasons that we're not aware of.
Yeah, like the one Rob seemed to contact because it knocked him off, didn't it?
Yeah.
You asked whereabouts the bodies were, and John, you came back with water, deep water. Is there a lake or something in this area?
Yeah, I think there is.
Yeah, it's a small pond and that, but when you look at the history and that, the three bodies were spread out a little bit according to the map and that, but then when you look at some of the history, the bodies were actually piled up in a ditch. So when they found one and dug down to get that one, it was actually, another one underneath. So they say, so some of the consistencies were a bit strange. And that's a document which you can find on the internet and, stuff like that. So, yeah, and again, it's just cross-referencing everything, really. And that's all we can do. Go with the evidence and the information we have there and try and build a picture up. Yeah.
The other thing I noticed was it's 55 minutes in. I wrote it down. Just when 53 minutes in, sorry. Just when Rob starts to take unwell, right behind us, a very, very small dot of light. There's one dot of light in the background. I don't know if you noticed it when you were watching the back or not. I said that could be anything. If you look, it's with 53 minutes and 8 seconds or something into the video. Well, it's just when Rob starts to, say he's feeling affected, Robbie, right in the background. A white light. I mean, it could be a car headlight, or, it could be anything. Just, I noticed when I was sitting watching it.
Didn't notice it, to be honest with you. No, I didn't notice it. It was nowhere near the roads anyway. You could hear the background. I mean, the closest thing we got to where we were was the main car park for the visitor centre, which you can just hear in the distance. So, short going back and looking at the video, it quite possibly could have been a glimpse of the light coming through if you wanted to be a little bit safe with saying that. But it's certainly, I mean, unless the light actually moved or if it was just static there, then the chances are it's going to be still a light. I mean, if it's something that wasn't static, then yeah, I'll turn around and say potentially it could be, an energy formation of some sort. We only had one camcorder going at the same time, so it couldn't even been lens flare from anything else.
I think it was too far away to be lens flare. It was right way back in the distance. You could see it. And it was static. To say it might be nothing, it's just something I noticed when I was watching it.
No, great.
And I made a note of the time and just watch it back. So it might be nothing, but I thought I'd notice it. But so is Victoria usually that sensitive, is she? Also, I've seen Victoria, John, on that live you did with that other channel, shall we say. I think you know the one I mean.
With the what, sorry?
The interview you did with Victoria on the other channel, which I'm not going to name the one I'm talking about.
I know which one you're on about, yeah.
Yeah. But that's the first time I've seen her actually at work.
Yeah, she's always that sensitive. She's always like
that. I've not seen her before. I just seen her on that other channel. One theory I had, and it might be, totally nothing. You seem to be picking up another spirit, maybe a male. Do you think it may have been the father?
Is this the one that affected Rob?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't think it was anything to do with the kids. I felt it was something else, something that they was afraid of. That's the impression I got. I don't know if they was trying to affect Rob to get rid of us. Because the children seem to be at times quite forthcoming with us. We was getting quite a lot of energy from him, and then this thing just affected Rob almost to drive us out.
What happened?
That's the impression I got. He collapsed.
Seriously?
He felt unwell while we was doing the noise cancelling headphone spirit box session. So we had to stop that session. Then we moved on about 100 yards or so. And you could see him slowly going down. And I asked him, Rob, are you all right? Because I'm the only one that could see him because I had the camera. It was pitch black. And he said, yeah, keep going. And then next thing, he just slumped onto his girlfriend. And Chelsea said, I really need help. So Ralph went to get hold of him, but you could see something physically pulling Rob out of Chelsea's grip behind him. You could see him move.
Yeah.
And Ralph dropped what he was doing and grabbed hold of Rob. And I passed the camera to James, who was there with us. And then I helped Ralph get Rob onto a seat. And he just seemed to clear his head after a few minutes and come round. But yeah, Chelsea was trying to keep a grip on him. She said she could feel something pulling him out of her arms from behind. And everybody else was around in front of the camera. So you could see he's not one of them.
Was this before or after you opened yourself, or is that a different place?
A different investigation.
Thought so. Okay.
Yeah.
Gosh.
This was only last weekend, Ralph, was it?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so it's a really recent one, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Do you think lockdown has had any kind of impact on paranormal activity? Because I suppose if you look at it in a way, a bit like pubs being shut, they've had nobody to talk to, or have they?
Well, if you think of the spirits and paranormal side of ghosts and things like that, if you're very similar when you pass on to how you were when you was alive, then if you're a sort of person that likes company of other people, even as a spirit, then yeah, I'm sure you're wondering where everyone's all of a sudden disappeared to. You've got nobody to play up to, nobody to show off to, and things like that. So yeah, I suppose in a way it has.
So do you think maybe that when you went to these places, the activity might have been slightly heightened because it had been brewing, a little bit like, a shook up bottle of Coke. It's been shook up, but it's solid, and then you take the lid off and boom, there's so much there.
I mean, we've been to Colson Bassett a couple of times, and myself and Ralph have always picked strong sensors up there anyway.
Okay.
But on that particular night, I just tried to push my luck a little bit too far. But it's always been an active place. As for Cannock Chase, like I say, it felt to me like something was trying to get rid of us because we seemed to be having reasonable communication with what we was picking up as children. And then
Which would have been victims.
Exactly. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, I'm going to get rid of you now. And it didn't feel like it was a child. Even Vicky said, no, this is something else now. As it was happening.
As you're telling me this, I'm stone cold. Only when I'm fine with the whole conversation, but as soon as you mention the dark, well, it was dark energy that obviously that took hold of him, I go freezing cold. And I've never been to Cannock Chase. Heard lots about it.
I think you'd like it, Joe, and we'd be willing to take you at some point if you wanted to go.
Perfect. Yes, please.
We'll show you around.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Right. See, that's why I was under the impression it was maybe the father, because obviously this, whatever it was or whoever it was, wasn't wanting you there. So I get the thought in my head, probably totally wrong, but we all hear these thoughts. But maybe it was the father trying to get you away from the children.
Or was the murderer some kind of father figure, perhaps, or presumed himself to be a father figure to these children?
Well, if I'm right, he died in 2014, so he's quite recent. Died in prison, the murderer. I think his name was Raymond Leslie Morris. And he's only died 7 years ago. So
okay.
I suppose if he's got some sort of physical and emotional connection to Cannock Chase, there's nothing to say that he couldn't be there as well.
Absolutely.
And that's where the children are. Or
I feel just from talking to you that it's him that's there. I feel.
So?
Yeah, I feel a massive amount of fear. Honestly, it's just done it again. I've got a shiver, a cold chill just comes all the way over the top of me.
Well, it wasn't good when you see it happening to Rob, but unfortunately, Ralph, I think Vicky and James couldn't see it because I was the only one with a viewfinder with the infrared light. So until I put the camera onto Rob, nobody could see it. So I was pretty much directing everyone of what was happening as it was happening, But yeah, if you watch I don't know if Scott can share that clip with you, and you'll see how it happens, Joe. And he just goes, and that's not like Rob. It's very unlike him to be affected in that way.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Something incredibly strong.
I'll send sorry, I'll send you a link later on, Joe, and you can give a watch. The other thing I wanted to ask you about it was there was a part in it with Victoria, and I don't know if you were on a bridge or it was a path, but she was wanting to get into this wooded area, but it looked as if there was some kind of big pond there or some kind of river, and you said there was a wall, and she said we can't get into that. What was she feeling? Did she say she just wanted to go in?
From what I can pick up, I mean, obviously, like on the night, like the same as Ralph, off the top of your head, it's difficult. But what I could pick up from the edit, I mean, water's always a good source of energy anyway, isn't it? It magnifies it and intensifies it. And she was immediately drawn to there. But when you looked over, it was just like a swamp. But she couldn't say what it was, but she was just saying, there's something in there. I want to go in there, but I know I can't. And yeah, she was a bit annoyed about that one, unfortunately.
I think if you're in a location and you're getting drawn to a city, you've got a strong pull towards a certain part of that location, and you can't get to it. I think it would be kind of frustrating. I need to go there, or I want to go there, but so I can't. It's impossible for me to go there. I think that would be quite annoying. What do you think?
Yeah, frustrating.
She was frustrated.
I'm looking forward to meeting her. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys as well, obviously,
Oh, thanks.
That's right.
That's a good second in that, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, ain't it, mate? Yeah. You've only met her once, we're fine.
Nah.
I know a good save. I thought it was a good save there. But I've already made Johnny keep his leg down.
You're going to see my blue Jarmus. Cookie Monster Jarmus. Cookie Monster.
I think it was a flash now you've said it.
I know, I just got a wee look at him. My eyes are kind of knitting, you know what I mean? But no, we're hoping to hook after Pendle. We're saying the date, beginning of July, I think we says. First weekend in July.
Are you all right for that, Ralph?
I'll have to double check. We'll make it, we'll sort it.
I have sent the message out to everybody, and I can't remember what came back. I've slept since then. I'll recheck with everyone, Scott. First week in July. I think we said first week in July, last week in June, didn't we? As a a radar to aim at.
I spoke to Charlotte earlier today. She wants to come up and meet us, so she's available the first weekend in July, she says.
Okay.
So also I said I'd talk to you guys, and we get some sort of. She's really keen to come up to Pendle.
Oh yeah, we can't wait.
Oh, we're just, can't come quick enough, Scott. It's what a mass release, I've been jotting things down in my pad about it, places and stuff.
Pendle won't know what's hot it.
I don't know what the same with it. Imagine all us driving into Pendle.
Have you guys been to Pendle before? I'm guessing you've been before.
No, we haven't actually. It's one place we've not been. Yeah.
It's my second home.
Oh, we can't wait, Joe. We can't wait.
Yeah, I love it. I'm going to move there one day. I am.
Really? Yeah, we're so looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a feeling like no other. It's a bizarre feeling that you get there. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I've been and felt absolutely fine. At home, could walk anywhere in the dark. Wouldn't need my torch. I've been before, and all I want to do is get back in the car and go home.
Really?
Mm-hmm. So when they say that the spirits travel, they really, really do.
Oh, excellent! Really can't wait.
Yeah, it's great. It's I love it. Love
it. We've seen it plenty of times in TV and in the haunted hunts, etc. as well. And I would imagine it's like. I always imagine it to be a bit like Greyfriars. When you step into Greyfriars, it's like stepping back in time. You leave a sense you're stepping back in time. I always imagine Pendle be like that, or am I wrong? I bet I'm wrong.
To me, it's incredibly calming. It kind of you step out of the car and like a weight lifts off your shoulders. That's how it feels to me. You see the hill miles and miles before you get there, and as soon as you feel the energy that's there, I can just be really calm. I would say never have I felt scared. I felt unwelcome only once in one certain place, which hopefully we'll be able to go to. Yeah, I can tell you what I saw and what I felt there. But it just feels really calm and peaceful.
Did you know of any sort of like dark energies around the area, Joe?
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. And it's a little bit how we're covering the forgotten Pendle. That there's certain locations that don't get mentioned in any of it. That is where the epicenter is, where you need to be, and these places are dismissed because everybody's on the mad search for Malcolm Tower, aren't they? Or just as Andy's mentioned, he's drawn to the Alice statue. Now, for me, I have to totally disagree with that, only through the fact of I'm not drawn to go there because the statue was placed to commemorate. I could put my teeth back in. Commemorate Alice. That's Alice. Cheers, boss. Alice. Now, she wasn't alone. She didn't do that journey alone.
Yeah.
The rest of them weren't. Why was she remembered but nobody else? Is one of the questions that I ask a lot to the spirits that are there. But also, where the statue is situated doesn't really have much relevance to Alice's life. And her back's to Lancaster, so it's not the road that she would have walked towards Lancaster. So for me, the statue doesn't. I'm not drawn to the statue. I'm drawn to lots of other places that you would pass in your car and not even notice. Yeah, but I will take you guys there. I'll show you guys.
Please do so. Yeah, looking forward to seeing what we can pick up on.
Scott, we have our amazing knowledge, factual knowledge. Joining us as well, don't we? Have Thomas Broad is going to be there. Now, if you guys need to know something factual about Pendle, he is your man.
Really? Okay.
From way back. If it's noted, if it's recorded, he can prove it. And I've said, Tom, this sounds really mad. I'm drawn to this place or this place or this place. has it got any relevance? And he'll go yes, or he'll go no, and prove to me why. So these are all places that PIH have collaborated together that we're keeping under our hat, aren't we? I suppose, guys, because it's you would pass it in your car and not even think. But some, for example, Alison's first meeting with the devil, we believe we know where that was.
Oh, I can't wait. I want to go now.
Secret.
I put a post up yesterday. Thomas officially came on board with us yesterday as a Pendle advisor. So we're lucky enough that we've got maybe 4 of the top Pendle minds in the UK on board with Joe, Simon, Karen, and of course Thomas. So it's really going to help us a lot, and it's just there is places that we know about that we're not saying anything about because that kind of
spoils it. It's a secret.
All right, sorry, because it's a secret.
Shut him up. Again, Sarah.
That is all about. I never finished reading that.
Sorry.
All the others. I think my theory with the Alice statue, why she is commemorated. So I got that word there, Joe. You struggled, I got it commemorated. Is because I think she was different to the other accused because of her background. Where she came from. and because she wasn't originally charged with what she appeared in court, obviously, over the land disputes, but then it turned, because I know why she originally appeared in court.
Did she actually go to court?
And I thought this was what infuriated Roger Knowles because she won the dispute.
This is forgotten Pendle. But yeah, not quite. Or maybe she did, maybe she didn't. They'll have to watch it and find out, won't they? You'll have to watch it and find out.
But
anyway, guys, this is about you. See, you bring me on the panel and I just sidetrack. I turn everything into a Pendle investigation. So I'm going to shut up about Pendle.
That's like you got a movie and you get the director of the movie and folks that director of the movie, we can't tell you what happens in it. It's a surprise.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
Exactly. We're sealed to silence. We're not allowed to say anything. Is it see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil? That's us,
It's so simple.
Anything's going to use it.
So anyway, GSI, where is the best place you guys have been? Where's the best place you've investigated for your own reason? Not so much the activity, but the place that you felt, I really like this. Because obviously mine's Pendle.
Is it?
Go for it, John.
Codner Castle for me.
Where, sorry?
Codner Castle.
Oh, okay. Why?
Yeah, there's not a lot left of it standing, and over the years, it's been turned sort of like into farmland and farm, sort of like buildings. But parts of the old ruins still stand, and parts of the old farmhouse. And if I'm right, I think you mentioned this to me the other day, Ralph. It's gone from the 51st to the 11th most haunted place in the UK.
Yeah,
is that right, Ralph?
Reported by Higgy Pop. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I've done a solo there on my own as a thank you for getting, when we had 500 subscribers on YouTube, I did a solo. And it's probably the nearest I've ever come on an investigation ever to turning off the camera and saying, no more. It's the nearest I've come. Yeah,
and
so I think that's
from somebody that's a bit of a loose cannon, that's quite something.
Yeah, when you're in these sort of places, that it looks like something out of a horror film sort of anyway, but that sort of thing, it never goes into my head. But when you're in a room where no one can physically enter and you're getting growled at like guttural demonic growls from 2 feet in front of your face, and you think, I've got nowhere to go. Effectively you're in a milk churn, and you're getting this that's right next to you in with you. Do you know what I mean? And everyone, because I was broadcasting that live at the time, and everybody heard it. And that's when I just thought, I'm in trouble now. I thought, shit. You know, but I carried on anyway. I didn't run.
What a surprise.
Yeah. But that's the nearest I've come. So for me, it's Codnor Castle.
Okay, Ralph?
I think there's something about Witch's Wood, which is in Calverton. Yeah, a little place in Calverton. It was, again, I always go back to the one where it was me and you, John, backed up like OK Corral that time when we felt like we got surrounded. It's a very oppressive atmosphere. I mean, I did my solo and I walked through there on my own, and it's literally like a walk in the woods in the dark, nothing there. But we've been there before, and it's been off the scale. Where, like I say, we've been in the wood, felt surrounded. No matter which way we went or looked, we felt like something was watching us, circling us, and we was back to back, weren't we, John? Literally, just looking for a way out.
Around, like, where's it going to come from? Waiting for it to get attacked or something. It was that active.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
So it's definitely nice.
It holds its name for what particular reason? You've mentioned the woof word. There's a puff word and a woof word. Never mention those two words to me. Witches and Pendle, don't do it.
Yeah. Well, I think the witches is because there's been a lot of activity to do with that down in the basin of the wood where it is. There's supposed to have been sacrifices and stuff like that, which is also the same as an old Roman camp, allegedly, in that area as well. So it holds a lot of history within that time. And then moving out of the woods towards one of the main roads is where they're supposed to have hung people to show that when crimes have been committed, that they're actually there and shown that they don't tolerate that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of history. I mean, when I was previously with my old friend of mine, we went there, we got disembodied voices out there. So it's definitely a place, and if you get the right night, it is one hell of a place to be. But yeah,
got all these places to show you guys, honestly.
Yeah.
That's a very hit and miss night, though. Which is what you can get it like Ralph says. It's like a lovely just moonlit walk through the woods, or you can get it where you're thinking, I'm out of my depth here. It's one or the other, and you don't know what you're going to get.
Wow.
So, hopefully you get it on a good night.
Canongate Kirk in Edinburgh. It sits at the bottom of the Royal Mile. That's a bit like that as well. We've been 3 or 4 times, and I've walked around it myself, right down the very bottom, middle of the night, not a thing. And then we went through one night, and there was just this. I felt it as well. A very heavy, oppressive atmosphere just at the end, just as soon as you stepped in the gate. And it was just, if someone's telling you, we don't want you here,
Is that the night I left?
Sarah left, but, I'm like you, John, I didn't bother listening. I still carried on and went walkabout, myself. As you do, I think we spoke about this in the last live, actually. When you say it was dedicated or stupid, one or two. And I feel like,
you're stupid. I was safe.
Serious or that, I'm off, I'm going outside. I said, well, I'll see you in about 10, 15 minutes, maybe. I'm going for a walk.
Actually, myself and just say, guys, I'm out.
Sarah done a wee short live to say, I'm a big chicken and I'm looking in there. And I said, well, I'll see you in about 10, 15 minutes, maybe. But it was really, really. But the surprising thing was, it wasn't the whole area. Once I get, because the church sits in the front of it, and the graves are on, and once I get round the back and away down the back, I never felt anything. But as I came back up to the entrance, that's when you could get the going again. And so we took the hint and we left, didn't we?
It was the entrance for you, but for me, it was the back room beside where David Ritzell's grave was. That's where I felt it.
I reported to be.
Reported to be.
There's a gravestone there, but we're not actually sure where he's actually buried there or not, but they do claim he is buried there. But that was the same as Canongate. So we've been before, and it was totally fine, not a thing.
Yeah.
We go that one night, and it's a case of, you know, telling you it's sawed off, basically.
But then that brings us to the point where it doesn't happen on demand. You know, you can't say, okay, you know, let's all go here. I mean, I think we had a quite a good chat. I think it was when we did introducing Cat from the PIH USA, and we said people don't understand. You know, you can't just turn up and go, hey, you know, we're here to talk to you. Come on out. You know, and before you know it, you've got them, you know, queuing around the block to talk to you. You guys have probably done it as well as, you know, us. You've gone somewhere, you've sat for 5, 6 hours, 7 hours, if not longer, in the dark, looking at yourself, a laser grid or something in front of you, the bright green light from the K2 that kind of blinds everybody, and got nothing.
Yeah, many times.
Oh yeah, we always compare it to fishing.
Do you know what? Was it Matthew that said that, Scott?
It was Matthew and me that said it the other night.
It's a really good theory, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's with Greyfriars. We went that night, Canongate, we were actually heading up to Greyfriars for a 3 a.m. investigation. And, you know, so you're driving up to Greyfriars at, 3 o'clock in the morning, going to get something. And again, and all we got was flat batteries. That was it. There was not a thing. And so
they're not performing monkeys at the end of the day, are they?
Exactly.
Well, that's it. You know, they're not sitting in benches saying, you know, right, it's your turn this time. I've done the last 3 tours. You go and scare them this time. You go
yeah, exactly.
I'm on my lunch. You know what I mean? It's just not like that.
Yeah, but just talking about obviously the whole communicating thing. Do you guys have a piece of equipment or something? Because I know that you spoke about Vicky, who's somebody no offense to you two, but she sounds like she's right up my street. As to using herself is the best form of equipment.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a more technical view on it?
In what way?
Do you go all out? Do you know? Is it kind of? It's got to. You've got to see the lights flash. You've got to see the temperature drop. You've got to. Is there a piece of equipment that you think, do you know what? If that changes, if that moves, this shit's real.
Well, yeah, I think so. Anything like a trigger object, especially for me myself, we've got motion censored cat balls that we flash. They're a pain in the arse to get to go off. You could stamp around them and they won't move. But Vicky can click her fingers and get them to work.
Right, okay.
They've only ever gone off in Vicky's presence, I think.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and she can get them so it just doesn't stop. And you can literally stand next to it, jump up and down, and it will not activate. And we can step back and she can get it flashing non-stop, just non-stop going. For me, that's just like, yeah, what else can you say?
So when those balls flash, you start to get excited.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
For me, yeah, because I mean, a K2 meter always goes off different energy sources. So always that what if it's picking up something else? Just that little bit of what if. So when you see it going up to red, is it exciting as it is? There's always that little bit in about you that's saying, is it picking up on something else?
Message or absolutely.
Where for me, if you can literally jump around a ball and it doesn't go off, you can move away and have complete silence, and Vicky can it just starts flashing away non-stop. For me, I can't explain that. So something like that, I'm like, I get excited.
Aye.
Mind we done a test and we were dropping them off tables and stuff, and they still didn't break or go off.
I run with a cap tire and stuff like that, nothing happens. I hate to be a party pooper, folks, but we really cut it there now. I'll hold on to you two guys. Sam and Shelley, as I said before, are out doing an investigation, and Sam's just mailed Sarah to say she's scared. I don't know if there's something wrong, but they want to come up on the panel with us and talk to us.
Okay.
I'd rather go fair if I could just hold on to use two guys as well. So I say, I don't know what's wrong. So sorry, folks, we need to kind of cut it short. Well, you always see more at GSI, but we need to find out what's up with also Sam and Shelley. What's going on. So we're back tomorrow night with Matthew Swords and the medium Sky Ray at 9 o'clock.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll see you then. But I'm sure Sam and Shelley.
We've also got Pendle.
Oh, aye. Tomorrow morning, 11:15, we've got the next part of Who Were They? Part of Forgotten Pendle.
Not the last part. The second last part.
I don't know, last show.
Salisbury, no, it's not. We're Salisbury tomorrow. Salisbury Witches.
We'll just say it's the next part. All right.
The next installment.
The next connection. Salisbury next connection.
We'll put a wee post on our Facebook page, let you know about Sam and Shelley. I'm sure they're okay, but obviously, first safety is our first priority, as it is with every team, and we want to make sure that they're 100% okay. So take care for just now, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, cheers.